Hello, it's the cryo lady. So I've got my sea salt dress on. Yeah. I just pretty much wear sea salt every day. Look, I picked up this scarf as well. It's got the same pattern on it. I do like a good scarf. Tee hee hee. I also like to scarf down my dinner. Anyway, I was reading this story on, it was ITV News website. I look at a lot of different news websites, and you know, sometimes when you go to see read a newspaper online, let's say, and it says you've got to pay, Lamb, my eldest, informed me that there are websites that just remove the paywall. Remove paywall, I think it's called. Something like that. And you just copy and paste, go to the article that you want to read, just copy and paste the link and put it into the paywall thing. I like to read a broad variety, so I'll read everything from The Spectator, Private Eye, I'll read everything. I don't care. I like to get a broad spectrum and see what's going on across the board. Obviously, media sites that, they often just support different parties. So you get the likes of, let's say, the Times and the Telegraph, the Daily Mail, which is a joke. To be honest, it's like a comic. Most tabloids are like comics. You've got the Mirror, that's like a comic. I mean, in all honesty, I think the funniest newspaper going is the Star, because they don't even pretend. They are quite funny, the things that they put on their front pages. Things like turnips and cabbages and things like lettuces, that was it. Liz Truss and the lettuce. That was funny. But anyway, what am I talking about? Yeah, so I was looking on ITV news website, and there's a story about the most expensive coastal towns to live in the UK. They gave the 10 most expensive, one of which, a few of them are actually quite near to me, and then they gave the 10 cheapest, right? Now, the 10 most expensive coastal towns to live in are pretty much, they're all in the south. They are all in the south. And pretty much most of them are actually in the southwest. But the most expensive, I think, is Sandbanks. That's in Dorset. Like, close to me, you've got Budleigh, Salterton. That's pretty expensive. You've got Salcombe, Dartmouth, Kingsbridge. Now, I've been to all of those places and they are nice, absolutely. I live in Torquay, which is a coastal town as well. The 10 least expensive are, every single one of them is up in Scotland. So why is that? Why is it that you can buy, I think, a property in a coastal town for about, I think maybe the cheapest about £103,000 up in Scotland. Scotland is beautiful. I mean, it's absolutely beautiful, okay? It is absolutely lovely. But by God, it's cold up there. It is cold. I mean, the sea, it is cold, very cold. Don't get me wrong, the sea can be a bit cold down here. But honestly, when you've got the really hot weather down here, and I mean, sometimes you do get really, really hot weather. But we've just had absolutely beautiful weather. In the whole month of May, virtually, we've had really, really lovely, lovely weather. I mean, beach weather, swim in the sea weather. yeah, you have to introduce yourself. You have to introduce your sad body to the sea a little bit slowly. But I remember one time a few years ago, it was stinking hot. It was so hot. We all decided to pile down to the beach. And I always took my kids down to the beach, by the way. I just remember I went to a place called Broadsands, which is just outside of Paynton. It's primarily a sandy beach. Go into the sea, it's all sandy on the bottom. And it was warm. It was such a stinking hot day. I stood in the sea up to my neck in water, obviously, and I just stood there staring back at the beach and just looking around. It's so lovely. But honestly, Scotland is beautiful. I'll tell you what, one of the most lovely places that I went to. I mean, I went this one time to a place called Lymington Bay. Now, I don't even like to call them my parents because they're vile people. Janice and Floyd, they, in one of their many, because they've moved, what is it, like 26, 27 times. They lived in just outside of Dundee in a place called Ayrshire. So I went up a couple of times to see them. And I drove the kids out to Lymington Bay. It was lovely. It was absolutely lovely. Like, they've got sand dunes, beautiful sandy beaches, but my God, that sea was cold. And this is in the height of summer. They literally came out of water looking a bit blue, to be fair. You know, Scotland's got the scenery, honestly, and it's got far more areas that are just like, look unspoilt, where you can buy yourself a lovely house there. But I guess it's the work as well. Is the work there? I suppose if you work for the NHS, which I did, then it would be. Perhaps if you work for the government, indirectly, like teaching, things like that, social work, the work could be there for you. But otherwise, it's quite difficult, isn't it? Perhaps if you work in the whiskey industry, maybe that would be good. But anyway, house prices, what do you think about them? Is it a big rip-off? Or is it just A-OK? Who knows? And obviously we all know what the rental market's like. It's crap. Anyway, over and out.